Welcome to the Jamodi Podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders, so let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is Jamodi, just a matter of doing it. Coaches, the Jamodi Podcast is powered by Shoot 360. The future of basketball has arrived in Dallas-Fort Worth. Shoot 360 combines the latest sports technology with the fundamentals of basketball skill development. The result is a one-of-a-kind video game-like basketball program designed to improve your shooting, dribbling, and passing. Visit shoot360dfw.com to learn more and register for your free 1-hour workout evaluation. Shoot 360, the future of basketball is here. I just want to thank all of you for being on here with me. The relationship that I've been able to have with Shoot 360 is special on a couple fronts. One, I just really appreciate you guys believing in the podcast and what I'm trying to do, talking with coaches and helping coaches and players, but then also for helping my stepson, who I've been to your facilities. He is a member, and it's something I really believe in. So, guys, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Why don't we just go around and just introduce yourselves really quick before we kind of dive into some questions and some information about Shoot 360.
I'll go ahead and kick it off because I'm the least important person on here. Dan Abdallah, and I'm one of the partners in the DFW Shoot 360 locations down there.
And I'm Demetrius Miller. I'm the general manager over at the Grapevine location inside of the Fieldhouse USA.
And I'm Kristen Grossi. I'm the general manager at the Louisville location.
I'm curious of how many coaches already know what you guys do and the amazing facilities that you have. You got one in Grapevine, you got one in Louisville, and there's one up in Frisco, correct? Is that open
Coming
yet?
soon.
Coming soon. Okay.
Yes. We're hoping that one will open around the beginning of December, end of November, beginning of December.
I'll tell you, I can remember when Matt Garnett, a buddy of mine, we do some camps together during the summer. I saw something on social media about Shoot 360, and I started looking. I was like, okay, they got some shooting guns, they got some type of ball handling thing. And I thought it's a really cool idea. And my first thought was, man, how come I didn't think about doing that, first or ever before? But even the videos that you guys have online are great. But when you walk into the facility, it's a whole other deal, and you really feel how special it is. Dan, what if you don't mind kind of sharing some of the history behind Shoot 360 and the idea of it?
Yeah, it started just over 10 years ago by an individual named Craig Moody up in the Pacific Northwest, longtime college, high school coach up in the area. And he started to see just some of the different technologies that were coming around and really had a passion for infusing technology, sport, and entertainment with being able to empower athletes to really kind of take over their own development and drive a passion for the game. So started off real simply with kind of some technology that was really based off commercializing NOAA technology, which is in 28 of the 30 NBA facilities. Used to be able to track shots, give feedback on the arc of those shots, because that's what, in terms of all the research from Carnegie Mellon and NASA, that's the number one factor that gives you the best opportunity to really make a shot is the arc of your shot. And so he took that and kind of took it to the next level of really adding in the depth of the shot, the left, right of the shot, and putting it and packaging it in a really entertaining and engaging vehicle for athletes of all ages to be able to, in all levels, to be able to take it and just kind of run with it. And so it started off with 5 locations through the last, I think, 5 years, and now up to 28 locations across not only the U.S. but also Zaza Petruliak has a location over in the Republic of Georgia. So
nice. That's incredible, because when you hear of a place like Shoot 360 and you think, okay, it's just a gym with some guns in it that you can rent out. Again, you walk in thinking it's going to be just one person's just maybe dreamed that they had, and they acquired some of these used parts and things. That's kind of what I thought walking in. But again, the professionalism, like you had mentioned, the entertainment, the energy. You guys also hiring the right staff, but this is a nationwide premier experience that players can have, and so really cool to hear a little bit of the history and some of the locations open up here. Kristen, why don't you talk a little bit about the mission? What in your opinion? Anybody else? Demetrius, you two can jump in, and Dan, the mission of Shoot 360. Like, what's the why behind it?
Well, basically, we're just trying to connect with this generation and find a way to really get kids to, first of all, stay in sports, because it's a huge thing right now. We're just losing kids left and right. And so Shoot 360 gives them that opportunity to come in, be challenged, be engaged, and really take control of their learning and their development, which is hard right now. And we give them all the tools they need, so they're ready to go. We have professional coaches in there, to where we have some that have played overseas at the professional level, have coached at that level. So they get to come in the gym and they get to be surrounded by people who have been there and engaging them in a workout that connects with them at a different level. We've kind of gamified skills training. And so they come in, and from the moment they walk in, we want them to just be ready to go and ready to get better, and just want to keep coming back day after day.
I think one of the challenges that high school coaches have, one, we want our players to train more. We want them to do more. But sometimes we just kind of throw that statement out there like, hey, before you go to bed tonight, make sure you shoot 100 shots. The odds of them doing it are small. The odds of them doing it with any type of speed or pressure. So you guys have taken what I think what coaches want is giving players ownership of their training. And I've been able to see that with my stepson in those facilities. It's incredible.
Well, and the hard part with what you're saying is, I was in the high school arena, and the hardest part is you do give them that homework, but a lot of them don't have a space to go do that. And Shoot 360, part of their history was they were realizing lack of availability in this court space. Or, I was training kids, and I'd say, hey, okay, this is what we worked on. You need to continue to work, but where do they go to do that? We are available to them. We are open 7 days a week. It works with their schedule. They can come in every day if they want. And so when you tell a kid, hey, I need you to put up 100 shots, when they come to us, it is not only quality, but it's quantity of shots too. They're getting 300 shots up in 30 minutes in our facility. So they're able to come in and just repetition, consistency, hardcore workout. And we have a space where what you tell them to work on, they can come do that.
Yeah, and I love it. Getting into on their app, they can not only pick the time that works best for them, but they can also, like we had said before, control a little bit of what they're going to be doing. So it's specific to them. But on top, because there's an idea of a coach could think, well, they're just going to go in and shoot on a gun. They're still going to be by themselves. There still might be some bad habits, or they may be practicing or training too slow. But like you had mentioned, you have qualified coaches there that aren't just hovering over them. I've seen them in action. They're not hovering, but they've got 2 or 3 players that they're kind of monitoring and that they can help hold accountable in some ways.
Yeah, Matt, you know what? And I don't think I could sum it up any better than Kristen did, but that was actually one of the main reasons why I got involved in Shoot 360, and I kind of saw the potential there. Was I took my father-in-law, that happens to be a longtime NBA assistant, NCAA Division I champion. He's got a ring with the Mavs. He's actually out there with Jay Kidd right now. He'd kill me if he knew that I said that publicly. But I took him in. Here's a 70, 80-year-old man that is known for really being one of the first player development coaches out there. And I took him in there. I'm like, hey, tell me, is this a gimmick, or is this giving you good feedback? Because outside of the fact that, it's tracking your makes, it's tracking where you're missing from, all those other things, the information that it's giving you in terms of your arc and in terms of your left, right, in terms of your depth, that's actionable items that you can then take immediately, along with the feedback from the coaches that are walking through, to be able to improve your percentages, and then be able to track that over a period of time. And for the most part, every single player that we see come in over a 30-day period of time sees extreme positive improvements with everything. And so he immediately says, like, no, this can take and analyze things that it would take me to get to the level of detail. It would take me, a month or two of working with players to be able to get. So that's what I think is really unique. Is you're right, you get the perfect collision of all of those pieces of the gamification, of the coaching that's in the facility, of the data analytics that's behind it, but real information again that you can actually take and then apply to improve your game.
And on top of all of it, and you guys have both mentioned it, it's fun. Like, I think that's one thing that we forget with training sometimes, is that it's okay for them to have fun with what they're doing. And in fact, if it is fun, then they may end up coming back more, which is what I've seen, like with my stepson, who does like the game. So I'm not going to act like he's one of these players I have to drag him places. He likes it, but he is perfectly okay with us saying we're going to do a session, or do you want to do a session? I mean, it's never been no yet with him. And so let's talk a little bit about the technology, because Dan, you got into that. Like, first of all, with the gun, almost every coach out there is going to be familiar with a shooting gun. But the way that you guys have, married what the gun does with these interesting shooting games that you have, but then that NOLA type technology where they're getting real-time feedback on their alignment, like you said, their arc, but it's combining all of those training parameters that we want our players to have. So let's talk about the gun specifically first.
So the main thing with the gun is that we have a technology that is called smart throw. So with the normal gun that you use, you set it to a timer, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, and it's just going to constantly throw at you and throw at you and throw at you. With our technology, we have it to where the gun doesn't throw another ball out until you take a shot. So you can catch the ball, you can go through your dribble moves, coming off, however you want to do it, coming off screens, just different things off the dribble, and then you could shoot the shot and your next ball won't come until you shoot that shot. So that's been very big for me as far as training, because you can actually explain to kids, break down what they're doing wrong, and then get
without
back
having to run
without,
up and pause the gun real quick, or the ball hitting them in the face while they're, that's great. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think we did the smart throw is one of the best things I've ever seen. Being a former professional, I wish it was something that I had growing up, because it helps with the workout. It helps you actually concentrate on your workout and not have to worry about the malfunctioning and the extra balls and things like that.
And I love too the games that you guys have, because I mean, as a fan of shooting games, I think at the high school level, that's primarily the way that we should have our players shooting in practice is through games. But even for younger ages, I mean, I witnessed a kid, I think, either building a snowman by makes or tearing it apart. I think it was building it.
He's building it. Yes,
building
he
it.
is
Yeah,
building it.
It might be traumatic to have them ripping it apart. But
it does disappear if you're not consistently hitting
there's
shots.
The pressure.
So
there's the pressure piece.
You build him, you make a shot, you get a piece of the snowman, you miss a shot, it takes one away. So it's really focusing on consistency. It gives him a goal. And it has different spots on the court as well. But I'll be honest, that's not just the little kids that like that. When we've got our high school and our college commits that come in, and it's a challenge to them to see how many snowmen they can build. It's a 5-minute time game. So our coaches compete against each other and compete against kids to see who can build the most in that 5-minute time frame. So it's just a competitive environment, but it's fun, and it's not a lot of pressure, but it is still putting a little bit of pressure on them, because in a game, you need that pressure. So it's simulating that, but in a fun way.
And then you also have the screens, the video screens that are up above that or I've seen some players like, and Demetrius, you mentioned it, because of that technology where it knows when to throw the pass out, you can actually take them through dribble moves, and they're following, players up on the screen. So again, they are being led. It's not just a free for all where a kid is just on the gun for an hour. Here, thank you for your time, and they leave. It's a real workout that they're able to go through.
Yeah, we have different skills and drills that you can go through, and you can select, and there's different levels of, difficulty as well. So we do have a trainer They make videos over at corporate. They send them over, and it is a full workout with different drills, different moves, footwork, focus, form focus, whatever it is that you need to work on, building all the way up to where it's a pretty complex move that you're doing right before you're getting that shot off. And I've seen Meach, he's working with some kids that are a higher level high school or college, and he gets them in there. And we've even had a couple of young ones that just signed to the pros come in and put themselves through a workout as well, because it does go all the way up to that expert, MVP level. It's where it's difficult. It's a hard move and trying to get a shot off after that. But it does have a virtual trainer as well as our skill station too. So the passing and ball handling also has a virtual trainer. So they're not coming in and having to come up with a workout. It's done for them.
And they do have the ability to get volume also. So it's not just where you come in and you have to be doing these certain games. Again, you have the opportunity to choose and really guide your training as a player, which I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. We have a thing called free shooting, and in free shooting, basically, you can pick wherever spot you want the ball to go. You can put as many shots at that spot as you like, and then it'll cycle through there. So you could put down 3 spots at 40 shots a spot, and it'll literally just 40 shots and cycle to the next spot, 40 shots, cycle to the next spot. So it gives you a very accurate way to train.
How many guns are typically at a facility?
Is it really depends on the size.
Okay.
So
let's go Grapevine. Grapevine, how many do you have?
Grapevine, I have 7 and 7. So 7 skills bays and 7 shooting guns.
And that's what we have at Louisville as well. I know that Frisco will be just a little bit bigger. We're going 8 and 8 in there.
Nice.
So we'll have 8 shooting, 8 skills courts. So it all depends on the facility and the size of the facility, but they're evenly matched between shooting and skills just based on the way that we schedule. We do 30 minutes and 30 minutes of each. So we want to make sure those kids can just switch over and go to the next one.
And I love the skill base. Like that was something I didn't realize was going to be there when I went and checked out the gym for the first time, because as a fan of ball handling drills and any technology that I can have for the players' eyes to be up onto something. And then, but with your skill base, the way that their screen is set where you can incorporate passing, like it's a really good workout, and there's a lot of different games. So talk about that technology.
Yeah. So with the skill base, we have basically, like we said earlier, all our technology starts at the beginner level, and we have skills all the way up to the expert level. So with the skill base, we like to start with just ball handling. And then we have separate things for ball handling, separate things for passing, and then we have a combination of both. So we bring it together at the end. And then we also have a thing that is called our skills challenge. So after you go through all these drills, you can actually test out if you've gotten better in certain areas. So passing on the move, passing stationary, and then it gives you a score for the next time that you come in. So I think with our technology with the passing, like Kristen said, we have the virtual trainer as well. I think it's just a very fun way for the kids to pass and dribble with them not even knowing that they're getting better.
That's right.
Like they'll come in and play the passing games the whole time and then not even know that when their games come around, they're actually making better lead passes and better chest passes. I've had multiple parents come in after, they sign up and their kid has been there for a week and they go to their games on the weekend and come back in and say, man, he didn't turn the ball over one time. Like it's crazy how much better he's gotten. So it's a very quick way to just get better at your skills.
You experienced it. You did one of the passing games, and if I remember correctly, you might have been a little winded.
I was exhausted after the 2 minutes of it. Like it was me versus Matt Garnett. He beat me, which as a competitor, that still hurts. But I forgot just how physically demanding, the full body workout of ball handling. And then you add the pass inside of it. I wasn't prepared. I need to destroy that footage out there of that, but it is a great way. It's a great way to, for a player of any age. And I mean this in the nicest way, to trick them into working on a skill that most of the time players forget. They forget to focus on passing, and especially passing from a dribbled state. Because you'll see team practices where they're just standing and passing back and forth. Most of the time, that's not how it works in a game. You have to go from dribble to pick up and get it out of your hands, and then have pinpoint accuracy where it's going. And that's where those games, whether it's an ant moving around that they have to hit, or a ball that has a red dot that has different amounts on it, point amounts, Like it's just to me that stuff that technology is incredible, and the fact that that's what people got to understand that Shoot 360. It to me it's a complete offensive training tool where it's not just your shot, you're also working on your handle and your pass.
Absolutely. And they don't even realize what they're working on when they're doing that. Like it's precision, right? And it's speed of release, and you're working on ball handling and having the right hand placement, because you're not going to be successful within those games. It's built so that they are working on those skills, like we said, while having fun. They don't even realize that they're working on that precision, or, that they're having to lead the pass because that target's moving. So it's a fun way to get those skills in that you're right. That you don't always practice passing. You do ball handling, you do stationary ball handling drills a lot of the times, but this is really kind of incorporating that combination of being able to come up off of a move and get the ball out of your hands into a teammate. So
yeah, and I got, again, a fan of ball handling for years now. I think stationary changes is what most players do, and most coaches take them through that. But one thing I've experimented at Faith over the years is change of direction, but attacking moves on the move, but while staying stationary, which sounds weird, but it's the bit like, and I watched Landon do it last week. It's a in and out crossover with one hard attacking dribble, bounce back to the same spot and do it again. Like that is working on, it's not just your feeder, because there's always going to be those coaches out there that I don't want to do anything that is not game like. And so, but when you get them moving like that, even though it's a bay and they're not running around, it is very game like.
Well, breakdown, I like to say, oh, sorry, Kristen. What I like to say is, okay, in a basketball practice, and let's say if you don't do any practice drill, in an hour and a half practice, one player may make, let's say, 45 passes. Well, when you get in here, you can play a 5-minute game and you can make over 50 to 100 passes just in that 5-minute game. So you're expediting the process right away. So kids are not thinking about it that way, but from a coach's standpoint and a trainer's standpoint, it's the best way to go about your training because they're expediting the process. They're getting twice or double the amount of passes in a 30-minute span than they'll get in an hour and a half at practice.
You're right on the money. I think that takes me to my next point of, to me, skill trainers, individual skill trainers. There are some good ones, and so I'm not putting them out at all through this. But if I'm a parent, I trust that at school they are doing the things that they need to do with their coach. And if I'm a coach, when I have them right in front of me, I trust that I'm taking them through the right things. But then here's another tool, another piece of the puzzle where as a parent, I can trust that whether it's the shooting there or the ball handling, even if I don't know the game, I mean, I can see there's organization involved. And like Dan talked about earlier, this is time tested technology, but then also ideas behind shooting and ball handling that I've watched parents sit there and they're either, sometimes on their phones or videoing their player or just working on things. But you can trust that. I think at the end of the day, and this is my whole point, at the end of the day, we want our kids to be using their time wisely. And this is a way where an hour there, one, it goes super fast for the player because of how fun it is and how much working. But Demetrius, like you said, the usage, how many reps, it's incredible.
Well, and it's what simulates that game-like situation, right? Because they come in and are they going to make 50 passes in 5 minutes in a game? No. But by the end of that time, they are breathing hard, just like they would be in a game. They're having to focus on their footwork. They're having to focus on their form because, yes, they are putting up more shots, more passes, more ball handling drills. But it's also got that cardio aspect to it to where they're having to really focus in and they're not just going through the motion and, like you said, wasting time, right? Because time is valuable, especially family time. That we're big on that. We want to make sure that we're not wasting anybody's time. And so when these kids get in the gym, and it's not just kids, we have adults of all ages that come in, it is a very valuable hour. They are really getting out of it everything that they possibly can.
That's good. So let's just say that you're a high school coach or a parent or even a player. I don't know how many players listen to this, but you're one of those three stakeholders and you're interested in either seeing a facility or sending players there, like what are some of the best advice or instructions you can give them?
Well, they can head to our website, shoot360dfw.com. There's an option on there to register for a free evaluation. They can come in, first sessions on us, come check out our facility, see what we're all about, experience the technology, experience our coaches, and really just get to know us. The hardest part right now is people don't know who we are. They don't know what we are unless they've seen us on social media or they have a friend that's been in there. So come see us. The technology speaks for itself, but let us really just speak to your kid and get them in there and realize how important it is and how fun training can be again.
That's good. And I'll tell you, any coaches that do hear this is, I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy out there. I know there are coaches smarter, better than me, but I do feel like when I walked into the Louisville gym for the first time, one, I was blown away by how big it is, because watching the video, it doesn't help really understand how big it is. And then when you really start to get closer, again, I've been around shooting guns for years, but years are different. And like Dan said early on, how you integrate the NOAA type technology, and then Demetrius with the passing stuff. But then you turn and you've got these bays where kids are working on their handle. It didn't take long for me to realize that, one, I might be in the wrong business. Because Kristen, you and I were talking about this before we got on, that you guys kind of have the sweet gig as far as being around the game. Because I was telling Kristen, because she coached, and I love what I do, except for playing time. Like, it's the worst part of it, and choosing those things but I love the training and I love getting to see players connect dots. You guys live in that space where it's like, come on in, let me help you at the thing that you love to do. So that's cool. But it just didn't take me long to really, and Dan, like you said, you could see how this can help players to improve quickly and in a smart way. And it's affordable. I'm a high school teacher. My wife is a high school teacher, and we're able to have Landon go up there and do it. So I don't know if you want to speak on that at all, about like what it's like, because you do something cool with freezing the account when, like, for us, our season is about to start, and so he might not have the time to go up there. So you can freeze that monthly account. Maybe if you want to speak to that a little bit.
Well, we're membership based. So with your membership, you get, I like to say, unlimited access to our gym. We're open 7 days a week. You can come in every day if you want. But life happens, right? And so something might come up, and when you're in the middle of a contract and canceling is not an option, we do offer to freeze or suspend your account for up to 3 months out of the calendar year. Let me try that again. And it's just basically, you don't lose that month. It tacks on to the end of your contract, so that if you have someone that's in multiple sports, and say the month of October, in September, October for me is football. So if my boys are in football and they really can't get in the gym very much, I can suspend it. And that way I'm not, I'm not paying for the entire membership fee, but I don't lose it either. Because I know basketball is right around the corner. Basketball season starts in 2 weeks. And so for the girls, and 3 weeks for the guys. Is that right? You start in 3 weeks?
Yeah, we're in 2 weeks from 2 weeks from today as well. So
okay, there you go.
But to me, it's so I was, when I'm doing the math with Jana, my wife, it was like, okay, how many times a month does Landon need to go to where this really makes sense? Because you do anything once or twice a month, like, I don't know how good you get anyway. I can't work out once or twice a month and feel like see any gains, right? So it's like,
right.
The training is the same way, but really, they go 4 or 5 times, which is not a lot, but you go that, and because most parents out there or coaches are going to know in the skill development world what individual training sessions go for these days.
Right.
It's not a bad gig. And again, there's great people out there, but for this, it's super affordable. And I love the fact that you're willing to work with parents like me, where, with Landon, it's like maybe Saturdays he could still go up there in season, but there is an idea of protecting his rest and not, I don't believe in burnout. I don't think that's a real thing, but some people feel that sometimes.
Some people do.
No, and
absolutely.
I think you hit it on the head there. Is, one of the things when you do look at it, you compare it against, the personal training and those pieces out there. And you're right, we are not and do not want to replace those types of opportunities because it's a huge, there's a lot of great things that come from that. But again, this gives them the opportunity to do it outside of those times. And there's only so much time that those individual trainers can get. And for those players that are doing other sports, football, where they've got to go right into basketball, you're not going to find a more efficient way to keep your shot on. So yeah, maybe it's Friday night lights for you, but then Saturday you can take 30 minutes to go get 300 to 500 shots up. And if you're doing that four times a month, all of a sudden that puts you in much better position come the start of your season, and you're not losing that skill that you've built. So I think you hit on it. Kind of the way we've structured our model is to be able to really take all of those things into account.
Yeah, and you really nailed it too with how efficient it is when they get in the gym. Literally, if they're there on time, they walk into their either the ball handling bay or walk onto their gun. The workout is up. I mean, you're really in and out in that amount of time. I love, Dan, what you said about, I didn't even think about that for my multiple sport athletes in the future. It will be something, because I always tell them, oh, hey, listen, I'm glad you're playing football. Go kill it. But, if you can keep your shot, if you can handle a little bit, but I'm just hoping at that point, like, here's a way, not expensive. And it's a good workout, but they are stationary. So like, even if I'm a football coach, I'm not I love it because there's virtually zero threat of injury. You're not going against each other. It's you by yourself training, but you also have help, like guys like Demetrius walking around that, golly, I mean, he tells me to do anything. Like I'm in, I'm all over it. But yeah. And then even in season, like, what if you're a player that you find yourself 10, 11, 12, 13 on the bench, on the team, and you're not getting minutes in games, but your coach is saying, like, still work hard. Well, what does he mean by that? I'm at practice. You got to do more. So here's an opportunity, but while you can still be a student, you take care of your schoolwork, but you guys are open, like you said, 7 days a week. So Sundays, after the Cowboy game, go get your shots up.
No excuses, right, Matt?
I love that. That's right. It's Shimodi. It's just a matter of doing it, guys. Oh, I worked it in. Anything else you guys can think of? Shoot 360, anything coaches, players, parents need to know?
You know what? If the coaches want to reach out to Demetrius or myself, we can bring whole teams in, let the team compete against each other, get them in the gym. And that way the coaches can know that their guys or ladies got an introduction to it. So they've seen it. Then we can talk individual just coming in for a free 1 hour session. But if coaches just want to bring their whole teams in, you can email either one of us. We'll get it set up. We've got some really fun kind of competitive games that we can put them into and let them compete against each other in a fun environment. So,
and you guys have done some coaching clinics also up there at your facilities.
We have, yeah. We've hosted a couple coaching clinics just for some youth coaches. And then we've had some high school coaches come in, really talking about the importance of data and the collection of it and giving that back to the kids and helping the understanding of it, which we have the completely want to do that again. And so we don't have one scheduled right now. Dan, maybe you can help us on that one as far as when we want to put our next one in, but it's definitely on the to-do list to get another one in.
Yeah, we really do want to be, very much focused on how do we benefit the whole, Dallas-Fort Worth basketball ecosystem. And, between what we do in terms of our memberships, the free classes that we offer our members on a weekly basis, the coaching clinics that we do, even to the point of, schools that maybe are looking for different ways of doing fundraisers. We're happy to host, instead of doing a jogathon, let's do a shootathon and do some fun things like that. So we're happy to be a part of that and to use kind of the resources that we've got. So we've always got different events going on, as I say, for ages, little ones all the way up to the best of the best.
I love that idea, Dan, the shootathon, because as a person that's put on and been a part of many of those, sometimes they're boring. And I can't imagine how cool it would be to have something like that at that one of those facilities. That's incredible.
Yeah, we're like I said, we're happy to work with any of the local schools or programs to do that kind of stuff. We got some fun things that'll be coming up. We challenge other locations. So when the night before the Mavs play the Rockets, we'll do a shooting competition against the Houston facilities. We'll do it against the Warriors. So all sorts of just different type of programming that we have, that because of the technology, and obviously all comes back to the ball, man, and the ball brings people together, and that's what we're all about.
Love that. And on that note, what other, so 3 in DFW, right? What else in Texas? Because there might be other coaches like from Houston or listening.
Yeah, so one down in Houston right now. The second one that's on the way. Believe there's one in the next 6 months that'll be coming to San Antonio. And I know some other people have spoken about getting a location up in Austin as well. So
awesome.
And again, it's one of the things that the way that we all operate together. So if teams are coming into the DFW area and they've got members at those other locations and they're looking to get some shots up pre-game or in between games, hey, we'll get them in and take care of them and go from there.
That's another thing. Like because when we go to tournaments, with Landon or myself, we wanted to get some shots up. We'd have to find like a gym, like 24-hour fitness, and go in there and then pay maybe for him. But you're right on the money. That's a great idea for going from city to city, especially with how popular this is going to become.
Yeah, it's exactly. It is. It's a lot of fun being able to engage. We've the different players. We've got Trey Young, Thad Young are guys that are involved in this. Kelsey Plum, Sue Bird, like those level of players and the level of engagement that they've got with things are just fantastic.
Well, I just want to thank you so much, guys, for believing in me and being associated with the podcast. I'm honored just to be able to mention your name in episodes. It's really cool. One, because I truly believe in what you're doing for players, and I've seen it happen with my own. So guys, thank you so much for that and for giving up your time to come on and talk about it.
And thanks for having us, Matt.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the Jamodi podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.